Hi, welcome back to YK Web Solutions. My name is Yusuf Khan, and today I'm going to show you further about DOM, Document Object Model. And today's my video is about Query Selector. If you refer to my previous video about DOM, I explained you basic information and basic structure, what is document object model, why we use it, but this is a bit advanced. So if you want to know what is document object model, please refer to my previous video. And if you already seen my previous video, this video will be helpful for you. What is about Query Selector. So in this video I'm going to show you what is Query Selector, how we can use it, how we access the element in a more useful way, and how we append parent and child elements right inside the document structure. So what is Query Selector? The Query Selector and Query Selector all methods allow you to achieve most of you already done with my previous video. And what happens, these both methods take a parameter in form of a CSS, kind of CSS, and in that CSS is a selector. So the Query Selector method returns the first element it finds that matches the selected criteria passed to it. Like my previous video, I've explained you the methods like document.getElement by ID, so you can access the element by ID, and there is another method which is document.getElement by class name, so you can access the element within the class name, so it accesses the class name actually. So these are the main methods which we use normally in DOM, but in Query Selector you use a bit easier, right, and returns all the element matches the selector criteria passed in. And these elements are still written in the form of node list object. As I explained you in my previous video, it's a concept for nodes which are connected to each other in a hierarchy. And what happens, like the top node is like a parent, and the down node which is connected like a child. And if those nodes which are child nodes further having nodes coming out from them, so it becomes the child of the child. It becomes a child. It makes a relationship of child to the precedence node and become a grandchild of the top node. In the same way, the top node acts for that node is a grandparent and a grandchild, and in between the nodes are like a parents. So this is the concept which needs to be clear before you go ahead. It's node system, and we call it node list objects. And these methods does not exist only for the documents but also each element, so you can access the elements as well. So, and another thing I would like to tell you that for example, what I'm going to tell you, normally we use like I said, Query Selector. The same concept can be used in the jQuery. Might be you know about the jQuery if you are using advanced JavaScript. So jQuery is probably the most popular library available to date of simplifying and extending the core JavaScript abilities. So you access the library actually of JavaScript, which has a ready-made scripts inside. So it's not, although a Microsoft technology, but it supports the Microsoft products and industry. And web developer like me use jQuery generally by using interchangeably with core JavaScript. So let's come to Query Selector. The Query Selector is using for altering the DOM as well. We can alter. So I have a little example which I show you. This video is not that long. It's just a piece of code which I show you. So first I go to my source file. Yes, my source file. This is a source file which I created on my previous video about DOM, which was an introduction basic. So what happens, it's a simple HTML document here. In the title I just wrote down this. In the head I wrote down the script tag. I left it open because I didn't write down my function. Reason being, in this video I'll show you what function I will write down, but I'm using Windows .onload function here, right? And inside of that I will write down my script. And what I did, inside the body I create one div which ID is outer div. In the outer div, it's a paragraph class main para, and inside it's a div ID, another which is an inner div which has a paragraph class sub para. So it's about in the outer div I just make a list which has kind of enduring faculties, and in inner div in paragraph with the ID and the class as well, I just gave a names of relevant subjects of the above faculty. Then we have raw and submit. So it's something like that. Main paragraph is a class paragraph and all faculties, algorithm, petroleum, this, and then submit and raw. So let's start. How do we do it? Yeah. So what I'm going to do, simple. This is, you need to focus. This video is a bit advanced about DOM, so if you don't understand this video, I would suggest you go to my previous video about DOM and watch that video. It will give you a basic understanding about DOMs, and then you can watch this video, so everything will be crystal clear to you. So I create one variable, element is equals to document, oops, it's not like this, document dot get element, element by ID. Yeah, and we pass the ID of outer div. So what I do, I just copy and paste. Yeah, so I'm passing this ID and it's outer div. Now what I do, I just use dot. Yeah, I'm doing concatenation, and it is insert before. This is a keyword we are using. Insert before this. Yeah. So before I write down everything, what I'm going to do, just have a look. This is the main paragraph ID. Yeah, I want to print and create a tag. I want to create somewhere here. So if I mention here dot insert before, now I start writing the conditions of my function. Document dot create, oops, document dot create element. So I'm creating element inside article. So I'm creating article tag. Yeah, and after that I just put a comma and put another condition. So what happens in the outer div, insert before document dot create element, right, article. So in outer div I am creating an article and insert before document dot get element by, it's coming like IntelliSense, yeah, by ID, and passing value in inner div. Yeah, when you will see the output, you will understand what I'm talking about. So just bring it here and semicolon. Yeah, and then after that element dot inner text. Now I'm accessing the inner text property of element variable. Yeah, and oops, is equals to my new article element comes here. Yeah, and semicolon. So what I did, just try to understand, I'm just declare a variable element which I'm just using the query this is a query selector by ID outer div, and then continue with insert before and put a condition create element article. So first it does, it will retrieve outer div ID element, and then once it's inside, insert before the inner div. So before the inner div, create element article and just print it like element.inner text, my new article element comes here. So what do you think where it's gonna come? So it will come after outer div when all faculties finish. Before inner div elements will start printing, it will display this message, and it's been created. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, see, so in the outer div it displayed this article. Yeah, it created, and I put the second condition, which is inner before the inner div, so it created article element. Yeah, and put this before, insert before inner div. That's what it is about. So what happens, we also like in this thing, yeah, I would like to mention we altered the DOM structure by creating a new element, right? And what happened, we access the DOM through JavaScript, which can be useful for rich user experience, and it's also dynamic, so it's dynamically created. Yeah, and plus so far what we are doing in our previous videos, we were obtaining only references by document.get element by id and just put like a main if it's the id, we just put like outer div and just print it through alert, and it tells you how many elements are there. And in the same way, if it's by class, document.get element by id by class name, so it just print the elements inside that class. Yeah, so but that was not that useful. So this video which I shown you just now, we created something, we made amendments, right? And purpose of retrieving this element from the DOM is able to something to do with them in realistically, right? And after you have a reference to a container element, you also can add children and all these things. Yeah, so you can, so what I did, I just create an article within the outer div. So this outer div is a parent, and this article element is a child in the same way. So those are nodes connected with each other. You can remove it as well. Yeah, so you create it, you can remove it, and if you remove it, and if I try to print it, it will give me an error. So I hope you will understand, and if you like my video, just please subscribe my video, my channel, because it motivates me to produce more informative videos for you, right? I'll come back next week, and till then, bye bye.